Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for dropping by. It is 9 at night where I am. So if you're joining from somewhere around the world, thanks for tuning in, whatever time it is. I'll be honest, I don't live stream very often. I'm very used to speaking to a camera with a prompter on it and having things perfectly scripted. So you're about to witness just how disorganized my speech could be. And honestly, this isn't, I'm not in my best state. Just two days ago, I had my wisdom tooth pulled out. And honestly, right now, it kind of feels like someone just threw a brick on this side of my face. So I'm going to try and speak less powerfully so I don't pop a blood clot or something. Hi, we have a friend saying hi, Yongjern, if I got your name right. Hi, thank you so much for coming by. The main reason I'm streaming tonight with the YoloBox Pro is because our friends over at Pixels Distribution has invited me to make a review of the YoloBox Pro. So I did my research on it. Everything's ready except having actually streamed with it. So I don't want to make a review of a live streaming device before having actually performed the live stream with it. So here we are today. I'm also going to be talking quite heavily on the setup, what I've got set up over here and what's happening. Wow. Hello, everybody. Okay, so one really cool feature here is I think I can pop contents up on the screen. Hi there, Dante. We have a question asking, do you still use your C100 Mark II? Very rarely, actually. I still have it. It's somewhere around here, but it's a 1080p machine, arguably the best 1080p machine ever, but I kind of need to shoot 4K these days, so not so often. It's not so often these days I reach for my C100 Mark II. But if you remember I have a C100 Mark II, then Zen, you must be a pretty long time follower of this channel. Thanks so much. Oh, Dante says hello back. So tonight's setup is a bit weird because I've got two cameras set up. The camera I'm talking to right now is the Sony FX6. Behind me, I've got an FX3 pointing back here at the YoloBox Pro. So if I cut to that angle, you can see there's a lot of pictures and pictures going on. But this is in a way to show everybody what's going on right now. You can see there's that really weird delay. Dante says, please talk about the new MacBook Air M2. I will, Dante. I promise you I will. Hey, I see Akil. Akil asks, how's live? Ika asks, hello, hi. That's not really a question. Hello, hi. So if I cut back to my main angle, here you can see the YoloBox Pro, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what a Blackmagic ATEM is. Blackmagic ATEM Mini. So generally, that's a live stream switcher. So is this, but this is a lot more self-contained. So right now, I'm actually not streaming through OBS or plugged into any computer. I don't even have a MacBook or a laptop set up here, actually. This is all streaming straight from this little box up in front here. It's got 3 inputs, so not the most number of inputs, but still 3 inputs. I'm using all 3 at the moment. And you can log in to a YouTube account from this, which is what I'm doing right here. And it's just doing the whole stream on its own, self-contained. We have AK Cine from Florida. Good morning from Florida. What do you think about the FX3 upgrade 2.0? Honestly, my FX3 is over here. I have not installed the update yet, but I really should, probably right after this this stream. I think there's Cine EI mode, and it finally has support for LUTs, which I think is amazing. These are definitely features that make so much sense for a camera with Cinema Line written on the top of it to have. I think it brings it a lot closer to FX6. For users who may not have used Cine EI before, it might be a bit confusing and disorienting at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too difficult. Hey, we have more questions here. What do you think of the continuous AF on the Fujifilm X-H2S? Worth it? And thoughts on it versus the A7 IV? does full frame mean a lot to you? If full frame means a lot to you, then A7 IV. XH2S, in terms of sheer horsepower, I think it actually is a bit more high octane than the A7 IV, but then there's the crop sensor. Continuous AF, I'd consider it usable. It's definitely not the best I've ever used, but it's pretty darn good. Not to the point where I have complaints about it. Yeah. Oh, one more thing. It's right now, the YoloBox that I'm streaming off of, it's plugged in through USB, power delivery, but it actually has a built-in 10,000 milliamp hour battery. So I could technically be streaming with this setup, assuming everything's on battery, outdoors without live power. So I just thought that's something really cool. I thought of trying that, but didn't get around to doing it because I just think live streaming under the hot Malaysian sun is not the best idea, but technically you could. Darren, anyone told you that you're like Kai Mark II? Yes, actually, a lot of them have told me that I remind them a lot about Kai, or they click into my videos thinking it's a Kai Wong video, and they leave like a very disappointed comment like, hey, you're not Kai. Zen, I thought when I stumbled on how it's expensive video about Sony G Master lenses. Wow, thank you, Zen. I really like that series, actually. I might bring it back someday. It's been a while. I should have a word with Lens Armory on bringing back why it's expensive. So we have Florida. I see some local Malaysians. Awesome. Okay, a little bit more. I'm pretty sure by the end of tonight's stream, you would hear more about the YoloBox Pro than in the actual review. It's a bit funny that the produced actual review of this is gonna possibly contain less information, or at least in-depth explanations about the product itself. But this thing here, even though I'm streaming off of it alone right now, being connected to my YouTube account, you can actually wire it into a computer over the USB Type-C out, and it would function like a UVC class device. Like your computer would just recognize the feed right here as a webcam input, and you could stream right off a computer over OBS natively on Facebook, or I've actually used it for video conference before. So it's pretty cool to have a pretty elaborate setup if you have like a very important video interview of sorts. So let me jump back here to the main camera. Let me see here. You can stream to Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. And if you want to stream to a platform that's not on this list, then you could use a custom RTMP. That's basically when you have a stream key and a stream URL. You would just pop that in. It works a bit differently though. You don't type it into the YoloBox Pro itself. It sends you a link to your email. Then you open that link in your email. Then you type in the stream key and the stream URL from there. So there's that. Supposedly, you're able to stream to all these platforms simultaneously. I tried mirroring the stream to Facebook as well as YouTube, but it didn't quite work out for me. So I'm just streaming this on YouTube at the moment. Oh, and I'm doing this over Wi-Fi. This thing has Wi-Fi. There's also a RJ45 LAN port in the back. So if you want to connect it to the internet, you could either over Wi-Fi, over a LAN cable if you want a more stable connection. Also, it has a SIM card slot, so if you really, really wanted to take this outside and stream outdoors in the field, you could pop in a SIM card, and I think it has an LTE modem, so up to 4G. Perfectly fine if you want to stream this outdoors. Hey, Dante says happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday, Dante. Thanks so much for spending your Friday night with us, if it's night where you are. Oh yeah, here's this. There's a HDMI out here, and you can select either you want a program out or you want to just mirror whatever you're seeing here, the multicam view, to your HDMI monitor. Very classy accent. Really, Dante? But thank you, Dante. Thank you so much. Oh, also, here's a feature that I completely was not expecting this thing to have, but they've somehow made it work anyway. It's compatible with the Rodecaster Pro, which is actually what I'm running my audio off of right now. It's just off screen, but I've got the Rodecaster Pro here. The version 1, sadly. Let's see if we'll get a version 2 for the studio anytime soon. But it's compatible over USB. My Rodecaster Pro is connected to the YoloBox Pro over USB right now, and you can actually see it under the USB device. See, it's under USB audio, which means I can have all the features of the Rodecaster Pro being piped directly into this without having to even bring in a computer, which allows me to do, let's say I tell a really unfunny joke, I can forcibly laugh at my own joke. The sound pad is still my best feature of the Rodecaster. Yeah, thank you so much. Love that thing. I sound like a very expensive attorney. I honestly have not hired an expensive attorney before. I'm not too sure what an expensive attorney sound like. I don't imagine all of them to sound the same or like me at all. But still, I'll take that as a compliment. And thank you all so much for these questions. Keep the questions coming. It's really nice actually getting some real-time interaction with all of you. Try my best to reply comments every once in a while. Sometimes it gets pretty overwhelming. But maybe after tonight, I'll even consider streaming more often. I think this is my first time properly live streaming here on my own channel. I've done live stream for brands before. Appeared in their live streams, hosted live streams for them, being a guest on their streams, but I've never actually streamed for myself. Yeah, Zen, it's a dedicated live stream switcher and device. So this could also be used as a studio monitor. Yeah, it actually has a monitor mode. So if I show you, like this is what I'm looking at right here. If I hit this icon here, it maximizes the preview. So it really looks like a Atomos Shogun 7. I think it's an 8-inch display, quite bright as well, 400 or 500 nits if I'm not mistaken. But you could actually use this as a monitor. You could use this as a live stream switcher, or you could just use this as a switcher. Like, you're not live streaming, you're outputting live, say at a conference or at an event for a multicam setup. You can just connect this to the program out through one of the HDMIs here and literally just use it as a hardware switcher. It's a bit weird because you're switching without any buttons at all. It's a fully touchscreen interface, very different from if you were using, say, an A10 Mini, where you have no screen and just buttons. This is all screen, no buttons. Pretty interesting. I also have a third input connected to my iPad Mini here, as soon as it shows up. There we go. Just for a bit of doodly-doos. In case you just want to bring in some graphics, some pictures. Hello. By default, if you want to switch inputs, you would tap it once to switch the inputs. But I've configured it to double tap to switch. So if I hit it once, it's not going to switch by accident. Because I always thought it's a bit scary using a touchscreen based switcher, because you literally just graze the display and it switches over. So if I tap it once, nothing's going to happen. I have to tap it twice and then it switches over. There's transitions as well. I'm just using hard cuts because it's a bit hard to please everyone with transitions, but I'm going to select the fade transition. So now it should fade over. It has a lot of other transitions. Not all of them work for every situation like that. Like this one just kind of brings it over. Let's try simple zoom. Whoa, that one was a bit intense. Well, yeah, I usually default to cut or fade. Hey, Maolan just joined. Is that the YoloBox? Sorry, just joining. Welcome. It's fine. It's fine. It is a YoloBox. It's the YoloBox Pro. To my knowledge, there's the YoloBox, there's the YoloBox Pro, and they just released a YoloBox Mini. I've never touched the YoloBox, just YoloBox and the YoloBox Mini. I've only had experience with the YoloBox Pro, and in fact, this is my first time actually streaming with the YoloBox Pro. But so far, surprisingly, it's been very, very satisfying streaming with this. I was expecting it to be a bit glitchy because it sounds a bit ambitious, being this all-in-one live stream switcher, monitor, everything in one with its own built-in battery and all. I thought it's one of those things that would sound better on paper than in practice, but in practice, it hasn't been giving me many issues at all. So that's something I really like about this thing. It's been working very well. So that was double tap to switch. Oh, it has a 3.5mm mic in and a 3.5mm line in. No XLR inputs, but as I mentioned, because it's compatible with the Rodecaster Pro, it is possible to input. It's possible to essentially offload your audio. There's also the usual audio follows video, audio over HDMI, but since I have everything coming in through the YoloBox, not the YoloBox Pro, I have the Rodecaster Pro going into the YoloBox Pro, both names end with Pro. This takes care of my audio, and this takes care of everything else. I also had Epidemic Sound playing in the background, and that's on my iPad Pro off screen here, and that's wirelessly playing into the Rodecaster Pro. Sorry, too many product names. And if I fade that up, you should hear a bit of that music coming in, and I can fade it back out. Neat stuff. I actually really like this setup. If you're a streamer, this would be I would be quite happy with this setup, honestly. Let's see. Oh yeah, I should probably show all of you a few of the other features. I do like the picture-in-picture functions on this. Let's see, if I wanted to show my face as an overlay here, I would go to Add Video Source, Picture-in-Picture Video. I would select my main screen, which is this, and then I would select my sub-screen, which is my small little face. And there we go. Hit done, and I cut to this. There we go, my face popped up. You can also customize it, which I quite like. Let me edit this. You can, I like it to be like this circle shape. It kind of reminds me of, something. I can't quite pin it on what it is, but it feels so familiar. Reminds me of like a TV show overlay thingamajig. I can scale. Oh, this is for the whole picture-in-picture scale. And I can drag it around wherever I want it. So there's that. Dodoki. Oh, Dodoki's Yuki. Hi, Yuki. Thanks for joining. Okay, so my face is still up there. Okay, now my face has disappeared. That's picture-in-picture. You can also do side-by-side. Let me try that. Oh, split view sounds pretty cool. Let's do split view first. I get carried away so easily. Aha. Can I... Okay, I can't touch screen operate this, but I can use the separator position slider to move things along. I can change the thickness of the border. I quite like this split view. Hi Yuki, thanks for dropping in. We're talking about the YoloBox Pro, which is like a very, very fancy 7-inch tablet that kind of looks like a Shogun 7 but can live stream on its own. Yeah, that's That's one way to put it. All right, let me come back to here. That's kind of fun. I kind of want to keep experimenting with the other views. There's triple view. You can do 3 views. There's this, and there's this. Oh, sweet. So you have both views. Mao Online asks, can you record live streams? Does it support external storage? The answer is yes, you can record live streams, albeit I don't think you can do it internally because it doesn't have much storage internally. But it does support external storage. You can record it externally. I think up to 1080p 60 frames per second. But yes, you can do that. It's also a recorder. And I guess it depends also on the platform of which you're streaming onto. Like for my case right now, I'm streaming onto YouTube. So YouTube would record the live stream for me. So at least I have a copy of it on YouTube. But if you want like a local copy of the recording, yes, there's a USB type A port on here that you can connect an external, say, SSD to, and it can record onto that. It also has an SD card slot, full-size SD card slot, which you could also use to record onto, I believe. Or for my case right now, I'm using the SD card slot to actually load my images onto the stream. Say this still that I can cut to here. So all that, putting it in through the SD card slot. I kind of wish I could airdrop onto this, but that's asking a bit much. Jackie, hi Jackie. And we have Victor. Victor says it looks interesting. Thank you so much, Victor. I do think this is pretty interesting. Then, thoughts about Atomos Atom X. Haven't had enough experience with it, honestly, to share thoughts on it. I would be happy to share more thoughts on it after I've had a bit more hands-on with it. I really want to try the 3-up. This one. What's news layout? Triple. Let's do HDMI 1, HDMI 2, and HDMI 3. Whoa, check that out. I imagine this is rather resource intensive because when you have 3 streams on screen at the same time, you do have to do quite a bit of processing for it. Wow. Maybe a new toy to add, Richard. Yeah, if you ever find yourself live streaming, or actually for me, I don't live stream very often, but before this, I always kept an A10 Mini on hand just in case I needed it for, say, stuff like teaching online classes or when I need to appear as a guest on somebody else's streams. It's so helpful to have like the sort of an interface that you can pipe in one of your big cameras to and just go online, say, either through video conference or actually a live streaming platform. So yeah, good to consider. I would actually recommend this. I've heard about it before our friends over at Pixels Distribution sent it over. Never actually thought of getting one then, because I thought it's like this. It's a very new concept, doing everything in one box. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait for it to mature a bit. But now that I've actually had a chance to test drive it, it's actually quite reliable. Ika says might buy one just because he uses it also. Thank you, Ika. Thank you. Shabina will tag along and buy one as well. Stick around because I think Pixels did tell me they're running a sale for this. So if anybody wants to pick one of these up, now's a pretty good time. Oh, there's that news layout thing that I really wanted to try. Let's see. I should probably cut back to this angle. News layout. I've tried it once, but let's do my face and HDMI 1. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I can't really customize the layout here, but it does very much look like a news layout. Okay. This is quite well thought out, actually. All right, I'm going to do something really dangerous. What happens when you delete the input you're on while it's live? Okay, it just jumps it it just jumps back to the previous input. Okay, so that's something I learned that's new. Oh, on the first page is overlays. I find these pretty cool because these are not necessarily video inputs. The way it works is kind of odd. So you have your video inputs down here, this area, but they're not necessarily your inputs. See, you've got HDMI 1, whoops. You've got HDMI 1, HDMI 2, then HDMI 3, which are all my inputs. But you also have, say, a PDF could count as an input. Your picture-in-picture counts as a whole new input. So if I make that, see, your picture-in-picture shows up as another source. They call it video source. Then there's these overlays on the right here that do not stack, that do not count as a source. They're more like a layer that goes on top of your source. Say if I hit the be right back, okay, it's completely opaque. But if I hit the starting soon thing again, you can see it just kind of draws over what is being displayed at the moment. So I imagine this is great for logos, or I'm pretty sure you can customize it as well. You can load in your own titles, lower thirds, or image overlays, social overlays. Let's try social overlays. Oh, there we go. If, say, I want to put my Instagram on here, at username, that's not right. Text at my Instagram handle is _Z_Cheng. And there you have it as an overlay. Really neat stuff. Lojon asks, YoloBox Pro? Exactly, you've got a good eye. If you can tell this is a YoloBox Pro just by looking at it. Wow. Can you use this with your PC, like a second streaming PC, just to stream to the main PC? Hold on, let me digest that. Just to stream to the main PC. In a sense, if you want to use it as like a webcam input, you can. Like, you can connect this to your computer over a USB Type-C connection. Then whatever streaming software you have on your PC will recognize the display, will recognize the signal from this as like a webcam input. Then when you go ahead and select which camera you want to stream from on your computer, just select the YoloBox Pro, and you would have whatever's on here being piped into your PC. I hope that answers your question, Zen. Let's look at more overlays. This countdown timers. You can input your own overlays, I think. Yeah, from the SD card. If you have images on your SD card that you want to make appear in your stream, you could have them as an overlay as well. Ika asks, how does this perform with an outdoor condition? Like, how would this hold up outdoors? I've honestly never tested this outdoors, not because I don't want to bring this outdoors, it's because I don't want to bring me outdoors. But I promise I'll at least see if the 400 nit screen is viewable outdoors. But it does have a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, which is about the size of some power banks. So I'm pretty sure it's a thick enough battery to last the whole live streaming session. Yuki asks, so this is a so-called advanced version of the A10 Mini then. I would say they serve a similar function, but in a completely different way. Like, you get arguably a similar result, but the process is completely different. They've completely redesigned and reimagined, reinvented the way live stream switches work. It's an all-screen interface. In a sense, I would say it's more of a one-stop solution than the Blackmagic A10 Minis, because the Mini specifically, you always need an external monitor to see, to at least have a visual reference of what's going on. And if you want multi-view, you have to get the Pro version. This, you get everything. You get multi-view, you can see what's going on. You can stream to your streaming platform natively. And more importantly, it has a graphic user interface. So this is very much very different compared to the A10 Mini, if you ask me. Do I enjoy this more than the A10 Mini? Yeah, in many ways, actually. Is this available to purchase in Australia? I'm pretty sure It is. I'm not very familiar with the major retailers and distributors over in Australia, but I think I see this on B&H. I see this on Amazon. It should be available worldwide. Here in Malaysia, at least, it's being carried by Pixel's distribution, the kind fellows who sent us this one. And they have a list of authorized distributors in that I've posted in the description box below. Lil John says, hope YoloBox updates the product with 5G SIM, HDR 10-bit, better codec internal record support for upcoming. Yeah, I actually think that's really neat. With 5G being everything these days, it would surely make sense to upgrade the LTE 4G to 5G. 10-bit HDR, it would be so cool if this could be a HDR monitor. I don't think we can stream in HDR yet. To my knowledge, I'm not sure. I should look into that. Does YouTube allow us to stream in HDR? That would be so cool though, if we could stream in HDR. But even if streaming in HDR is not a thing yet, being able to support an HDR signal would definitely make it future-proof for future HDR streaming. Or if you just wanted to use this as an on-camera monitor to monitor in HDR, that would be sweet. One thing I do very much like about this, like when I sometimes actually use it as an on-camera monitor over something like the Atomos Ninja 5, Shinobi, the dedicated monitors, those don't have a built-in battery. This has a built-in battery, so this appeals to my lazy side. When I'm lazy to find an MP battery and stick it on the back of an Atomos, I'll just grab this and be like, you power on, you can monitor a signal. Dodoki Yuki asks, true, so can you live stream the view to Zoom or Google Meet as an input or video source? The answer is yes. If you connect it to your computer over USB, you'll be able to see it as one of the cameras as if it's a webcam when you go ahead and hit that drop-down menu to select your cameras. So I guarantee you, if you hook this up to your big cameras, I know Yuki has an A7S III, if you hook this up to your A7S III and join a Zoom call with it, I guarantee you, your camera feed is going to be the nicest looking one among everyone else, unless somebody else also has the same idea. In that case, well, I don't know, pull some cinematography or whatnot in a Zoom call. Zoom call cinematography. I don't think that's going to be a completely new genre. Where's my laugh track? There it is. Oh man, that is so sad. Gets me every time. Oh yeah, you can live stream to a client. Oh yeah, okay, so that's a very niche and very special, unique use case. Yuki does freelance productions. Sometimes your client doesn't have to be on set. Your client is not on set, but kind of wants to see what you're shooting on set. So I imagine in this case, they would call you in over Zoom and ask you to feed your camera's output into the Zoom call so they can basically have like this remote video village. I think, yeah, definitely. This could certainly cater for that. I think more so because this has a built-in battery, so you could technically run this cableless. You can have one of your, say, Holyland receivers just going straight into one of the inputs. So then you don't even have to hardwire it to your camera, which is really neat. Currently, it's not possible to install Zoom on this. You could only stream natively to YouTube and Facebook. But I don't know, maybe in a future firmware update, the YoloBox team is really, really hard at work when it comes to developing new firmware for these things. These get firmware updates so often. And almost every single time it's for a new major feature. So if you could Zoom call, if video conferencing, that's something we can explore. If anyone from the YoloBox team is looking at this, that would be pretty cool. Oh, we have a new question coming in. I see it on my iPad, but not here yet. It's probably not refreshing yet. There we go. Can this live stream with a C100 Mark II? Because I also have one, and someday I want to try it. Zen, you have a C100 Mark II. You must love it. I still love it very much. But yes, you could. HDMI inputs, just one HDMI cable goes into the HDMI out of your C100 Mark II, and you'll be able to see it right here. Right here. This will definitely help keep the meme sounds up close to your fingers when streaming. Yes, the Rodecaster Pro is so good for all the meme sounds. I have definitely loaded some meme sounds in here. Let me see. There's a sad trombone. That's definitely for me. I don't think I can play the Nintendo Wii music because I think that's copyrighted. There's the if anyone knows the More You Know track. Here we go. Makeout TV says we found a way to zoom from the YOLO, like natively on the YOLO. Would you mind sharing it here in the comments, please? Because did you find a special workaround for it? Because I know it's actually running off Android as an operating system, but a very modified version of Android. So I imagine if Zoom is on Android, there's probably a way to get it on here. That'll be super neat. I also have elevator music. There's that. And for when things get quiet, Rode has very thoughtfully put crickets. There we go. But yeah, that's super cool. Via an app draw, SSH. Wow. Okay, I may have to look into that. That sounds kind of developer-y. I'm just about the furthest thing away from a software developer, but there's also this one thing that's bothering me a little bit. Maybe in future firmware updates, I'm trying to see if I can move this overlay. Yeah, let me try and point it here. This overlay, sometimes if it's a bigger comment, it kind of covers my face. So it'd be nice if I could, say, drag to reposition it. It might be a feature that's already in or not yet. But if the YoloBox team is making a future firmware update for this, that would be nice if I could reposition that. Pretty sure they're on it. Let's see. So it is 2144 here. Oh, while we're here, I might as well. I got this graphic from the Pixels team. So if I get my iPad feed to show up, here we go. This is for the Malaysians, because this is in Ringgit Malaysia pricing. Apparently YoloLive's running a 7th anniversary promotion for the YoloBox Mini and the YoloBox Pro. This is until 26th this month and started a few days ago. Pretty significant price slashes, but yeah, if anyone wants to pick up one of these, they're on sale. Just putting that out there. Makeout TV. Okay, Makeout TV clearly has more experience with the YoloBox Pro than I have. So press and hold, then click edit. Yes, you can. I'm trying to get that. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm doing it wrong. Pretty sure I'm doing it wrong. But I'm gonna try and pressing and holding here. Let me try full screening this. Pretty sure I'm doing it wrong. But glad to know that it's actually possible. Yuki asks, can you use it as an onboard monitor for a camera? Yes, you can. I think there's a tiny bit of a delay, as you can see here. But it's actually a very good, it's a very good monitor. It's a full HD display, and it looks so crisp on a monitor this size. But yes, I've done it. I've used it as an on-camera monitor before, and I was very happy with it, to be completely honest. So there's a monitor mode, so you don't have to actually initiate a stream to be able to see, to monitor your input signals. Let's see what this button does. Nope. But yeah, you can, and it has a built-in 10,000 mAh battery. It has a 1/4-inch thread on the back of it. Here I actually have it hooked up to that small rig hawk lock system, so it just pop it off, put it back on. It's also actively cooled. It actually has fans inside. You can kind of feel the fans vibrating a bit when you put your hands right up against it. Not loud though, extremely quiet. Does pump out some amount of airflow. Does have some air vents around it, but really nice stuff. Really cool stuff. Alrighty. So how's everyone doing? Feel free to share if you're not comfortable sharing how you're doing recently in the live chat session of a live stream. I completely understand. But well, thank God for painkillers. I'm still recovering from that pulled out tooth on the back of my face. Wisdom tooth. Why are they called wisdom tooth in the first place? My dad used to tell me when I was young, you get wisdom teeth if you're smart. I'm like, so if I study really hard, I get extra teeth that show up in the back of my mouth, which I have to very painfully take out when I grow older. That doesn't sound very wise. Oh, Zen's from Vietnam. Same time zone. Oh yeah, same time zone as Vietnam. Yeah, Malaysia's in the same time zone as Vietnam. So nice to hear from you from Vietnam, Zen. I've not visited Vietnam yet, but it's not very far from where I am. So one day I will. Dante. Had to step away for a minute. Did we talk Apple MacBook Air M2? No, I haven't talked about the Apple MacBook Air M2, but stay tuned, because we've got some exciting. I've got some exciting content planned for that at the moment. But so far, from the initial coverage that we've seen on the internet recently, it's looking like a very, very sleek machine. I think Dante's definitely planning on getting one. He's just waiting to watch more reviews, so he'll actually bite the bullet and get it. Unless you've already pre-ordered it, Dante. In which case, huge congratulations. Hi, Joshua. Joshua says, first time viewer, just randomly found my stream. Thank you for randomly finding my stream, Joshua. Change of topic, but how's my experience been with the FX3? Ran into overheating yet? No, actually, Joshua. No overheating at all with the FX3. It has the active cooling. Many people would say the FX3 is very similar to the A7S3, and I completely agree. They do share the same sensor. A bit of a different build. They're designed for slightly different segments of the market. They share a lot in common, but with the recent firmware update, there's a very, very clear gap between the two models now. The A7S3, which offers very similar codecs in terms of frame rates and recording, that I've never managed to overheat. So this, with active cooling, I think is just straight up impossible to overheat. This thing does very, very well thermally. If you ever get the overheating warning where it cuts off recording, there's that setting under the power setting. I'm pretty sure if you have an FX3, Joshua, you would be quite familiar with it. But there's a setting for the automatic heat cutoff temperature. If you set it to high, it almost never overheats. Dante says... Okay, so Dante's actually gone ahead and ordered the M2 MacBook Air. What color, Dante? Yuki asks, other than YoloBox, did you know about the new firmware update for Sony FX3 about inputting LUTs in the camera? Yes, that came in yesterday, I think. They just announced it yesterday. I was planning to do some coverage on it, so stay tuned. But it's a pretty major firmware update for the FX3. Version 2.0, you could do LUTs, and you have Cine EI mode now. So two very cinema camera-y features. So it's just made the cinema camera even more of a cinema camera. John Xan, hey, go to comment section on the YoloBox and click the icon on the top right, then select the comment template, then scale down the size and drag it to the direction you would like. Okay, thank you so much, John. Let me go ahead and try that right away. Comment section on the YoloBox, click the icon on the top right, comment. Oh, you can change templates. Holy crap. Wow. Okay. So here is when I can drag it. Oh my gosh. You guys just saved my life. Thank you so much for that tip, John. Amazing. Makeout TV. There it is. There it is. Thank you two so much for helping me. See, I'm learning so much more about the YoloBox Pro on my stream where I'm supposed to be the one talking about the YoloBox Pro. Wow. Yuki asks, do you know if the Sony a7S III will have the update as well soon? I can't know for sure, Yuki, but only Sony would know for sure. But if you want my opinion on it, this is just an opinion. This is not official. I think it will not come to the a7S III. Because the a7S III is still being marketed as a hybrid camera, very much a video-forward hybrid camera, but the FX3 is straight up in their cinema line. So this is when it will get more attention, more cinema-focused forward features for like dedicated high-end cinematography. So my guess is they're probably not going to bring that feature set to the a7S III. But FX3, it makes sense. Oh yeah, there's also time code now. Dante picked silver, but the Midnight is very tempting and selling like hotcakes. I bet that Midnight looks so sick. But don't worry, Dante, silver looks amazing as well. I love the silver MacBook Pro, MacBook Air M2. Yeah, it's so much nicer now. It's no longer blocking my face. I'm so pleased with it. Again, John and Makeout TV, thank you so much for your guidance on this. Oh, I should give a round of applause to the Makeout TV and John. Well, you can always get a FX3 as like a backup camera, you know, then you get all the features. And also get a YoloBox Pro so you can stream it to your clients. Dante, I wish I had your accent. You sound like an Oxford-educated Rhodes Scholar. Not even close, Dante. I've never stepped foot in Oxford or anything in that league. But in case you're curious, Dante, I picked up my accent when I spent about 2 years at a Brit international school in Thailand, actually, when I was a little boy. That was where I picked it up, and it stuck with me ever since. I do have a very Malaysian local accent that comes on when I step out into the streets. You may or may not hear that side of me. Zen says, C100 Mark II is such a workhorse, loving it, been thinking about vlogging on it. You're in for a bit of a workout if you vlog on the C100 Mark II. I've actually done it before. There's a very old video on my channel where, I don't know why I did it, but yeah, I vlogged on a C100 Mark II. It has a flip out screen that you could see yourself back, and it has autofocus center point, so technically it works, but with regards to how much of a workhorse it is, yes, it is. It is an absolute workhorse. I like it very much. The way the buttons are laid out, how ergonomic it is, how easy it is to shoot with. Love it, love it, love it. Adding production value with that button. I know that soundpad gets it all the time. I've taught online classes with it. The students absolutely dig it. It's the best invention since sliced bread. Maybe they could even integrate that into the future firmwares for the YoloBox Pro. Can I perform a bit on my local accent? Yuki, you've heard it. You've heard it. You've heard it. It's how I normally sound. This is how I don't normally sound. Actually, it depends. It's weird. It's like I know two versions of English. I speak Mandarin Chinese. I speak English. I speak some Malay. Every time I try to switch between these languages, I kind of have to do like a full system reboot. Like I have to like take a minute and go like, okay, let me change my operating system to a different language. Like I have to think in that language to speak in that language. My Malaysian English comes out when I think in Mandarin and speak in English. It's so weird. I have seen it, as in the vlog video with the C100 Mark II. I mean, I wouldn't exactly recommend the setup as a vlog setup. There's a lot of nicer vlog setups like a A7C, ZV-E10, or just your iPhone. But I said vlogging. Is it vlog or vlog? I think between the two I would go with vlogging. Yeah. But the term vlogging is so elusive. Like, in what way do you have to operate a camera for it to count as vlogging? Like, do you have to hold it while filming yourself? If you put it on a tripod, does it still count as vlogging? It gets me all the time. Well, that sounds complicated but nice. I know, right? It's the human mind is rarely not complicated. All right. I told myself I would stream for 1 hour. It is now 9:57. We've got about 3 minutes left on stream. Before I have to probably pop another ibuprofen for my wisdom tooth. But any last round of questions or reactions, or just things we want to chat about before I bid everyone a good night, good evening, or good morning if you're watching from the States? Flocking on a C70. Yeah, the C70 looks like such an interesting camera. I've actually haven't had a chance to get a hands-on with the C70 yet, but that looks a bit more vloggable than a C100 Mark II. All right, ladies and gents, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day here. Wow, that's in Chinese. I can actually read that. If I translate that, it's good times go by quickly. It's time to say bye-bye. I couldn't agree more, Yuki. Thank you all so much for hopping on this stream with me. First time streaming for myself. Very, very good crowd. 3 minutes to talk wisdom teeth extraction and MacBook Air finer points. So wisdom teeth extraction, it kind of feels like pulling a potato out of the ground. I've actually never done that, but it was really recessed, and I think it was getting a bit, for lack of a better word, rotten back there. So it was really starting to grind against my cheek. So instead of living with it till I could pick myself up to go see a dentist, I just decided to go see a dentist right then and there, have it pulled out, and suffer for the next week or so, and get it over with. MacBook Air M2, I'm very excited that it's lighter and thinner than the existing MacBook Air. Still fanless. M2 sounds like a very, very exciting beginning of a new cycle. So can't wait to get my hands on one and hopefully share more about it soon. Mohammed, you are most welcome. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and cut to my holding still very soon. But thank you all so much for spending the past hour with me. It's been great speaking with all of you. I'll definitely consider doing this again sometime soon. So for anyone who actually wants to pick up a YoloBox Pro in Malaysia, there's this promotion going on. It doesn't go on forever till 26th of July. So make sure you go ahead and pick one up if you're planning to get one. Get some good savings on that. So thank you all, everybody. Have a good night, or have a great remainder to the rest of your day. I'll see you in one of my other videos. Peace out.